Man, it's been a while. It's been a long while, actually, since I've recorded anything. Turns out, when you have mental health with a tad of grief, you don't feel too hot. I have been ruminating on some thoughts for a while, and it's been kind of hard. Long story short, there was a loss in my family, and I didn't realize how much it had hit me until pretty recently. It's been rough, honestly. We lost my grandpa, and it happened in February. Well, end of January, I should say. That would be more accurate. And it has led to me almost losing interest in things I have enjoyed. I've been really depressed about a lot of things, and I wanted to talk about it while playing Minecraft, because Minecraft has enough good vibes to, like, substitute the depression. You know, I think that's a pretty normal thought to have. So one of the things that I have been thinking about is how I want to be healthy as a person and how I want to get there. For a long time, I have dealt with being overweight, which isn't fun. It really puts a bog on your energy levels, and I'm already dealing with fatigue, which is probably why I haven't made much personal progress, which isn't good. You know, you should always be striving for more things, but when you have depression, that's kind of too much, it's a little too much for the schedule. Quick shout out to this one person I found on YouTube who did this house tutorial. I followed it for this build, although I changed a few things. The idea and the aesthetics are not something I don't really want to take credit for. But yeah, I think it's a cute house. I think it's a good build. Good job on these glow bears are such a good addition to the game, dude. Fucking pretty. It's been really rough to initiate doing something fun and or creative, which I feel like is a pretty normal thing with depression, but I haven't felt it in so long that I sort of forgot about it. Like last year, up to before we got the news about my grandpa, I felt such a drive to make content and to create stuff that, you know, I didn't think I'd be able to stop, you know, because I loved it so much. And then after the loss, you know, I sort of lost that drive, which it's a normal thing to go through when you lose someone. It's not fun, and many people have dealt with it before. You hear about it a lot from people, and you hear like, oh, it sucked when they had to lose a person, and they, you know, like I specifically saw this video. I'll see if I can find it, about this guy reviewing Midsummer and how he, previously to having a loss in his family, thought that the main character was the perfect grieving person, and how that opinion has since changed now that the shoe is on the other foot. And I personally quite understand that. You don't really understand the gravity of it till it's you. It's been also really hard because physically I have been in the shitter, dude. It's been rough. I have a lot of chronic illnesses that make it so my energy levels are really low all the time, and I really have to try to be happy and stuff, which sucks when you're doing YouTube because that's what people want to watch. No one wants to watch you be sad. If they wanted that, they'd go watch soap operas, and no one does that anymore. But like, it's been rough because I didn't really have socialization as a kid, or as a teenager, I should say. As a kid, I was quite social, but when I was a when I was a teenager, high school, I was homeschooled because I couldn't physically get to school and back. It was kind of hard to deal with, you know, but because I had the online world, you know, this was back when doing YouTube was like a super cool like thing that people started to take seriously. Like back in like 2015, that was when like corporations and YouTubers were like, shit, this can actually be like a solid career choice. And I didn't really give a fuck about the money. I just always wanted to do something cool to help people feel better about themselves, because that's how I got through a lot of hard days. Getting through those days was really tough because, you know, when you're constantly dealing with chronic illnesses, you know, things don't seem as bad as they are in a sense, you know, like I see people judging Ozempic users currently, and if you don't need the medicine, then yeah, what are you doing? But like at the same time, I could probably use it because I have dealt with an eating disorder for a long time. Probably around middle school is when it really flared up. But like, it really shows how some people really aren't willing to look deeper than what it is. You know, like actual users of these medications are getting shit. I kind of went off on a topic there. What was I talking about before? I can't remember, but let's keep going on this. Ooh. I need more bones. I have been thinking about trying Ozempic myself because I have an eating disorder and it sucks, and I also have some stomach thing. They're calling it my doctors have called it IBS because it has all the symptoms, but it's basically a blanket term for we don't know what's going on, so we're gonna call it this. And like, that's bad. If you didn't know, that's like not a good thing to have happen. One of the main reasons I have not tried it is because I'm not a fan of needles. Simply put, I don't like that. I personally am not a fan of needles. They freak me the fuck out, and I'm not too Gucci Cash money with that. And having to do them like every other week is like, that's a huge fucking no from me, dude. Personally, what I think I need to do is just do the effect of Ozempic myself without the injection, which is just eating less. And it's been hard because when you have an eating disorder, people don't understand that it is like a drug addiction, basically. It's I think it's the same part of your brain that gets activated as addiction, which, you know, sucks when you're constantly being discouraged by the internet, which, you know, first off, if you are dealing with stuff like this, never go to the internet. That's the last thing you should ever do. Oh, do you want this? There you go. But yeah, it's been hard, you know? It's been... He's so cute. It's been rough trying to find the balance I need, because that's something that's almost not played up enough, is finding out what you need and not what is either a trend or whatever. You know, like, that's the difference between, you know, actually getting help and, you know, for something you need. Like, it's hard specifically because of, you know, pressures, you know, like, I feel like I should have not gotten to this point. And that is another reason why I've been so in the dumps. Going through this entire several month soul searching BS has been one of the most exhausting things I've ever done. And it is entirely because it's just hard to untrain looking at yourself like a failure, if that makes sense. Because getting to the point I have with my health, it makes me feel like I've done bad almost on purpose, you know, like, not a purposefully, like, I did this to myself thing. Well, I guess that is kind of it. Where it's like, I had these expectations, and looking back, I had the opportunities to do better, but I didn't, and that's my fault. Which is a little true, but at the same time, it's not, it's also my responsibility now to fix it going forward. Instead of making it worse for myself, I should be working to make it better. But when you have mental illnesses, it's really hard to separate that, which is why you have people who are discouraged to even start trying. And I was one of those people. And I'd been feeling these things for years, but it really culminated with the loss of my grandpa, you know. sort of accepting that he's not going to, see these accomplishments or ever meet his great grandkids, stuff like that, where you sort of blame yourself, Like, I did have thoughts of, well, I could have had kids by now. At 23 years old, I could have been married. I could have had all of this if I just gotten my head out of my ass and he could have seen them. But at the same time, that's not fair, for me to put that pressure on myself because this tragedy happened. It's not my fault that things played out the way they did. But at the same time, I can still work on making things better just because this loss has happened. That being said, it's still hard to get your head out of your ass when you have to do it. Going through this past few months has been rough because it has stunted everything I love doing, from video making to drawing and painting to writing. It has stunted everything, and that's bad. I want to emphasize how much I'm trying to work through this. I have learned the hard way that just waiting for it to pass is not going to work, and I need to be the one to initiate stuff going forward. I can't just wait for things to get better. And that is a lesson that is hard learned. That was so fucking satisfying. It's been rough trying to figure out the balance. Damn, gross noises from the bees. Finding the balance of finding what works for me has been terrifying, but also kind of exciting. I've even stuff like buying your own clothes, figuring out the style you like. That kind of stuff is new to me because of my reliance on my family for so long. Relying on my family for very minuscule things has been unhealthy for me. And it has also sort of, not stunted, I'd say, but lessened my ability to look forward at the future, because my mind has been not conditioned per se, but sort of gotten used to getting help for things that you probably normally wouldn't need help for. But in that same boat, it's also not a problem to ask for help, which is the distinction I've been having trouble making for years, is when you can push yourself to keep going or when you can lean on others, because I have constantly had to lean on people for help. It's been hard to say, I need help now. It's not have it be a problem when, it's just rough having to make these choices and distinctions in life. I've been too hard on myself, specifically. I've been too hard on myself for so long about these things, and it's finally time I kind of get my head out of my ass. I constantly have advice for my younger cousins and my friends and all those people that I love so dearly about how to deal with things like this. But when it comes to me personally going through it, I almost freeze up. I can't bring myself to take action in my own life, even though it's important that I do. Like, I just gave my best friend a somewhat of a lecture about, not really a lecture, not to say, but I kind of encouraged her to take more hold in her own life and to make initiations, and she said that she was scared. And I understand that feeling so well, you couldn't believe. It's not fun having to go through the realization that it's up to you to make changes in your life, especially because it's a scary thing to go through, having to do these things. Like, going through the process of 6 months, 7 months, actually, it's probably been closer to a year at this point because it's fucking September now. Jesus Christ, I haven't uploaded in so long. It's been an interesting process, because I'm constantly telling myself the things I will tell other people, and for some reason it means nothing when I'm the one saying it, even though I'm the person that needs to hear it and say it the most. At some point I ended up telling myself that it didn't matter as much coming from me. So that sort of stunted myself. I put myself in that position of almost needing to be saved, which is a bad spot to be in. You should never let that happen to yourself. But I did let that happen to myself. And it's been rough trying to force myself into this, back into doing things both for me and for other people. I have so many ideas for things I want to do, but actually doing them has been a nightmare because I always get almost paralysis. Like, I've wanted to record so many things. Like, I was gonna do a whole big video on Still Wakes the Deep that I just put off and never did because I got scared to do it. Almost not even scared. It was like, what if it's not good enough, you know? And at first I used to think, well, why do YouTubers say that? Why do they get this fear? I don't understand. Their videos are always so good. And now I'm the one in the hot seat. And I think that's fucking karma. The amount of times I've scrapped recordings is insane. And I do this with my artwork too. This is not just a video thing. I have scrapped and destroyed so many drawings because I didn't think they fit my standards. I didn't think these videos fit my standards. I didn't think these drawings fit my standards. I said, these aren't good enough. These aren't post worthy. You post your best stuff and put your best foot forward. This is not it. And I kept telling myself that. But as it turns out, if you keep telling yourself that, you're not going to get shit done. You're just going to keep sitting there alone in your room, not doing anything. And whenever people say, you know, just do it, they really do mean it. Like, just do it. Just get off your ass and do it. Do the thing that you want to do and don't let someone hold you back, you know. Following your dreams never got you money in the first place, but with the economy the way it is, you might as well try because we're not getting shit in this era. And someday I want to do that. I want to figure out how to make my own little niche in this corner of the internet. But until then, I will be doing my best at home with my health. It has been hard, specifically with my health, because it has taken over every aspect of my life. I wouldn't think that recording would take so much out of me, especially when I first started. It wasn't that bad. I was super energized, but at some point I just lost my vigor to do it, and it became really hard to force myself to do it, you know? Like, I didn't realize how my mentality with drawing would have to overlap with my mentality with video making. This little overlap has derailed everything in my mind, because I didn't think that I could be so easily mentally fatigued like this, which is a problem when you're trying to do stuff consistently, which sucks. In the end, I am here recording something, and that's progress. I actually lost 10 pounds recently, and that has made me feel so much better about myself to an alarming degree, because I haven't seen progress in so long that I got used to not expecting any. Like, I got used to simply saying, well, no matter what you do, it's not gonna work. Which isn't true. It does work. This roof looks ugly as fuck on the inside. Let's fix that. It became really difficult for me to even get out of bed at one point. And while my family do try and do care, they are not very good at empathizing with these things. And that's not inherently a bad thing. Everyone has their flaws. You know, just because they are having issues, you know, seeing what I see, it doesn't mean they don't care. And that's been a hard gap in my mind to fill, because I have dealt with these things for so long that I have a hard time seeing when other people don't get it, if that makes sense. Lots of people deal with this every day, where people in their family don't understand, so they offer like shallow fixes, almost like, have you gone outside yet? You know, how many depressed people, you know, my depressed homies out there, we all know the have you gone on a walk advice. It is incredibly disheartening to hear it though, And I took it to heart too much, when in reality, it's just ignorance. You know, they aren't educated on these things. So they obviously won't be able to, they don't know exactly what it is going through. And it's especially heartbreaking from certain family members of mine who have been through chronic illness before and seem to think that their fixes will work for me, but that's not how it is. And no one tells you that the process of figuring out what's gonna be best for you is hard. You know, a lot of people almost make it out to be fun. You know, like, you get to do stuff that makes you happy, but it's like, if you don't know what makes you happy, then like, it means almost, that advice means nothing. And it took me a while to realize that I don't know how to find what makes me happy, you know, and that's rough. That is a hard thing to accept. I lost a lot of creativity over time, specifically after my grandpa died. It's like, everything dried up. On top of the fact that I was slowly going into another depression cycle, I suddenly had a loss that I hoped I'd never see, but I knew would eventually come. And when it came, I was devastated, but also I expected it, so it didn't hit as much as it did for other people in the family. Like, I didn't cry for 2 weeks. I cried the day before he passed, and then I didn't cry again for 2 whole weeks. And then I sobbed again at his funeral. And I didn't cry after that. I haven't cried since. And I thought that that's a me thing. I was like, wow, you're an asshole for not crying. When in reality, people process grief differently. Some people in my family sobbed. Some people still cry. But for me, it was losing all passion for things and not knowing where to go from here. And that is a difficult process of figuring out. And so I asked myself, where do we go from here? Where's the next step? And the answer is just get out and do stuff. What they say about grief is true. It never really leaves you. It is going to, this feeling is going to stay here, but I need to fill it up with other things instead of moping around feeling sad, like finding passion in my art again, finding passion in doing videos again. You know, I have a whole comic idea, a story idea that I have written in my head multiple times that I have never put into words or onto a page. And that is a crying shame, as some people would say. It is a sad thing that, you know, I wouldn't pick up a pen again because I can't get through the grief. So I've always figured out that when I deal with art block, I could just work through it, like physically work through it. But for some reason, I thought that this was different, so I thought it would pass. Because depression for me comes in waves, and usually it goes away at some point. Like, it just goes away and I'll get crazy bursts of energy, but that's not happening. It's been like this since late January, early February, and that's a long time to be out of it. Like a ridiculous amount of time to be out of it. You know, it's almost been a year, which is bad. That's a bad thing to be in that state for that long. Something that has been especially difficult is finding the things that I could still do that wouldn't take everything out of me, if that makes sense. Thank you, Minecraft music, for the impeccable vibes. I definitely needed it. It's been rough trying to figure out things that have made me happy again. You know, like, I used to do a lot of arts and crafts just as a hobby because I can't do much physically, but like, even figuring out like, I always thought that losing weight meant extreme exercise because that's how other people do it, and you know, if other people do it that way, I must have to do it that way. Bullshit. That is bullshit. And the reason I know that's bullshit is because I lost weight by doing nothing except eating less. I only eat 1 meal a day now because I have binge eating disorder, and if I eat more than that, I'll trigger myself and go on a binge, which is bad. You shouldn't do that. But like even stuff like that where it's, you know, just finding what works for you. That's an amazing process, and I'm thankful that I've gotten through that little bit, because finally going through the whole what works for me phase is like such a breath of fresh air, where I finally did something for me the way I wanted to do it, and it worked. Like the fact that it worked is amazing. It's amazing, dude. Something that was kind of hard for me to process at first was, how do I get through the slog? And I was ruminating on it for so long that I kind of didn't realize I was contributing to it by not doing it. You know, like you just, like I sat here for probably 2 months with ideas on recordings, you know, and personal projects, and I didn't do shit in that time. I just thought about doing shit, and turns out thinking about doing something isn't the same as actually doing it. Who would have guessed? Because of all of these things that I have been thinking about, I have vowed to try and work harder on things that matter to me. How the fuck do I get rid of this? This shit ugly as hell. It became a sort of personal mission of mine to figure these things out, because constantly going through these ideas in my head was not what I would call helpful. In fact, it made me more depressed that I wasn't actually doing them. So here I am, ranting about my personal mental health issues on the internet for 6 subscribers. And personally, I don't mind. I don't mind the whole broadcasting to no one. You know, I don't give a fuck about that, because I'm doing this for me. I'm not a YouTuber for anybody else but myself. I wanted to do this when I was in my teenage years, so I'm fucking doing it for me. I'm going to make my inner child happy by making funny videos that I like. Of course, this one's not very funny. It's pretty melancholy, to be completely fucking honest. And you know what? That's what we're doing today. That we're rolling with the punches, and you're gonna be here with me. Quite frankly, it's been weird, you know, going through these things mentally. This is probably the hardest little breakthrough I've put myself through, because I've never had to deal with things in a mature way before. And after going to therapy and like, because here's the thing, that's another thing. I never viewed therapy as treatment, which sounds fucking stupid. I know it does. But I never saw therapy as treatment. Since I was a kid, I kind of just went over my daily problems, and that was it. As it turns out, that's not good enough. How big are these barrels? About the size of a regular chest. I can put the food in there. I want to make a giant storage area under the house because, you know, but for now, I should get something to block that up. We just put food in here. Yeah. Yeah, this is min-maxing in Minecraft. It's been weird, honestly, trying to get myself to talk to a camera. Not even a camera, a microphone again. My microphone setup and everything is really bad right now because my room is too open. If that makes sense. Like, there's not a lot in here because even after a year of having moved into this house, I haven't really done anything with the space. And because of that, there's too much room. And it makes echoing happen, which is probably what you're hearing right now, and it probably sounds like ass, and I'm sorry about that. But now, I randomly got the idea of a whole setup that I want built, and fortunately, I don't know how to use tools, and my dad does, but my dad is working very hard for his family, so he can't help me with that right now, maybe over winter break. But, like, I had an idea for paneling, and for other things like that, I was like, okay, so this is how this is going to work, this is how we're going to do storage, and then, like, it sort of hit me that I was like, wait, I actually want to make something. I want to do something fun. I want to actually make a project happen, you know, like I want to do something. And that's crazy because I haven't felt this in almost a year, and that's nuts. you know, this has been almost a year of just sadness, you know, and I didn't think that losing this family member would make me feel as bad as it did, you know, because I've always touted myself as being the mature one that deals with grief properly. What a fucking crock of shit that was, right? Put that there, put that there, put that there, put that there. We got this, boosh. This can be the tools one. We'll put the bucket in there and the shears in there. I've also vowed not to delete this recording and do nothing with it. Like, I'm actually gonna edit it and upload it. And if I don't do it, editing Pekka, you're a fucking asshole and a piece of shit. It's been a long time of trying to figure out what makes me happy and who I am and what, even, you know, just what I want to do, who I want to be. Probably the most exhausting of them all, because for so many years I kind of just accepted what other people told me, you know, like for so many years my mom bought me my clothes because I was too exhausted to go shopping, so she would buy me stuff. What this ended up becoming was I didn't purchase things for myself. Mom always did. Because of that, I always ended up wearing clothes that she sort of liked. You know, it was kind of her style of clothing. But over time, I started seeing other fashion designers and stuff make things, and I was so impressed with them that I was like, well, I want to wear that. But I've always had this whole, oh, but you can't because of your looks. You know, you're too big to wear that. It's really late. And I can't use commands on this world. So I guess we're just gonna make a late night run to the, wait, I can make a boat. That would speed things up. So like even stuff like figuring out what clothing style I want, you know, figuring out that I do indeed want to live in a cottagecore ass house in the middle of the forest while also wearing tech wear clothing. That's me, bitch. Like I want to dress like an anime baddie, but I can't do that because I don't have the clothes. But I also really enjoy, you know, cottagecore cutesy stuff. Stuff like Mayoko. Do you guys know Mayoko? Mayoko? She's really good at designing things and has my soul with some sweaters she has, which is honestly pretty fair. The sweaters go hard. I'm wearing one right now. It's really nice. But like even buying these sweaters, I felt almost this sense of guilt, you know, where it's like, I'm not pretty enough to wear this, you know? I don't like my face. I don't like my voice. I have extreme body dysmorphia. It is hard to get myself to enjoy the things I wear and do because I always think that I'm not the target audience, which I definitely acknowledge is my inner Hollywood suck-up coming out, you know? Like, I grew up sort of admiring that side of the world, you know, and it turns out you shouldn't. Like, I just watched the whole, like, hour-long video from D'Angelo Wallace about Ozempic, which is insane to me because I have considered Ozempic in the past. Like, one of my doctors recommended it to me. Personally, I said no because I didn't want to do the injections. I heard that they come in pills, though, so I was going to bring it up with my new doctor because I moved, and I have a new doctor because that's what happens when you move. Owie! I need a better way of getting down this fucking cave. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. You know what? Let's not talk about that. And the boat's out there still. Therefore, and the stars are out, which means it's about to be night, which means it's almost time to sleep. This was a very misadventure. I'm usually not this shit at Minecraft. I apologize. I just don't know how to get the fuck down that cave properly. I want to show off that cave, though. It's really crazy. This seed is nuts. Editing pack, when you upload this video, put the seed in the description because I think people should play it, you know. I want to see what other people do with this seed. That'll be nice. You know, if you're a random stranger who clicked on this video about Pekka talking about melancholy shit while playing Minecraft in an aesthetic way. Comment what you would like to do with this seed, how you'd build it, because I personally think that sort of stuff is fun. I like when people are creative, and I think more people should be creative. I am a huge creativity junkie. I am the kind of person that loves watching art videos and craft videos and seeing people make stuff, because like the ideas people get are insane. And my whole mom's side of the family is that, like, grandpa was not an architect, he was a draftsman, so he had like a bunch of patents and stuff for things he'd invented and stuff that he sold out to companies, and he was really smart. And I actually inherited some of his like pencils and stuff. Ooh, iron. And like that was something I had a bonding moment with him about. Was I had one of those like lead holder pencils editing pack. I put up a photo, and he took it from me one day. It's like, here, let me see that. And he looks it over and he goes, that's a very nice pencil, because he used similar ones when he was drafting stuff. And I actually have that pencil now, and I need to get the right lead for it. I don't know what size lead it takes. What was I doing down here again? Iron. I think I needed iron and cobble. This is not the cobblestone area, though. This is the deep slate area. Oh, yeah. So this cave is crazy, by the way. There were diamonds, like, right in here. And there was another few diamonds, like, up in this wall somewhere. Oh, yeah, it was around the corner here. So you've got this lush cave right at the entrance. It's gorgeous. I love lush caves. They were probably one of my favorite additions to Minecraft, just because, you know, they add so much life. Like, look at how pretty these berries are. I'm obsessed with them. There's also a fuck ton of clay, which I actually need clay really bad. This is a great clay source, are these caves. I didn't bring a shovel because, you know, we are scuffed on this channel. I really need oh yeah, speaking of this caves and its craziness. So I accidentally fell down a hole the other day, and I freaked the fuck out. It was this hole right here. You might see it already. Yeah, an ancient city is right fucking here. Yeah, an ancient city is right fucking here. Just right here. Look at that. Damn, that looks cool as fuck. I want to know what that is. But like, I have busted iron armor, and I need diamonds before I will remotely consider going in there. Like, I need a full diamond set, etched diamond set, and maybe netherite set. I'm certainly not ready to go into that bitch, but like, it's right there, and I think that's nuts, and I love that so much for myself. Ooh, an axolotl. If only I brought my bucket. It is interesting to see how my brain works in real time. Editing this will sure be a treat. He's trying to get into my house because I have a flower. Put some little pebbles around. Yeah, that's nice. How is if I walk over them? I can push them in. Okay, I feel like we need some. In the video I watched, they put like a shelf here with floral stuff. I don't know if I want to do that though. I could do like I don't know. What could we do with this? Because, like, there's no shelves in the game. This is vanilla. For the record, I'm not running... The only mods I'm running are Sodium, Iris, and... I think that's it. Other than the API, I think that's literally it. Now, where else should we put these flowers? The flowers all over the place. This place is also super empty up here. I might bring out some chests. I think as the sun sets on this Minecraft day, so too does this video. Ow. I wanted to make a video just airing out thoughts that have been on my mind for a while, especially since losing my grandpa. You know, I didn't think it would affect me as hard as it did. I wanted to talk about it, maybe see if the YouTube algorithm would promote me if I talked about emotional shit on YouTube. I will be trying to upload more and take this a little more seriously. I do understand the YouTube grind. It never ends, you know? And props to anyone who can consistently do it, because I sure as shit can't. I hope you enjoyed listening to me rant about these things. I hope you maybe found some comfort. If you feel these things yourself, just know you're not alone. There's always people around who are willing to listen, even strangers. So never be afraid to reach out. Even in my comment section, if you watched to this point, then please talk about your experiences. I know, even though this is probably not going to see a single person, but you know what? We can try. And that is going to be it from me. I'll see you again whenever the fuck I decide to record something next. I hope you have a good morning, evening, night, whenever the hell you're watching this, and I'll see you again another day. Bye.